Alright, we're going to learn about subduction and suture zones. We'll talk about myself, geology, physical geology. Alright, overview. What are suture zones? What causes subduction zones? And what are suture zones and why are there suture zones? To understand the rising volcanoes and mountain ranges and ground shaking earthquakes, you will need to understand subduction and suture zones. Alright, what is a subduction zone? Simply put, is the sliding of one tectonic plate under another. Alright. Subduction zones often occur where oceanic plates, which are outlined here in red, meet a continental plate. Alright, so you have your continental plates, which of course are going around all the continents, right? And then your oceanic plate is your ocean. So the biggest subduction zones are located in the Pacific Ocean. Alright, right here around this area, it's also known as the Ring of Fire. So because a lot of subduction zones happen there and a lot of earthquakes. Okay, all around this area. Alright, two types of subduction zones are oceanic crust, the oceanic crust, and then oceanic to continental. An oceanic crust, so there's two different oceanic crusts meeting. So you could say around the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, right? They each have their own plate. When they meet and they collide with each other, they'll form a volcanic island, and then over time the island that volcano will produce an island. So like the Philippines. So in the Philippines area with the oceanic crust and oceanic crust collided, they created a volcanic island. That volcano exploded over time, created the Philippine Islands. All right. The other ones are the oceanic to continental. Good example of that is the Himalayan mountains. So the oceanic crust would collide with the continental plate and then form mountains, which then you have the Himalayas and other mountains around the shoreline. All right. Again, that's the Ring of Fire around here. All right, what causes subduction zones? It's the product of two tectonic plates converging on each other. One plate is thrust beneath the other. So the oceanic crust, when it collides with the continental crust, because it is more dense, it is heavier, it slides under the continental plate, right? So then it goes down. That's where you create your subduction zone. As you can see in this picture here, you have the oceanic crust coming. It collides with the continental, and then it shifts the crust down, right? It pushes it down, and then it leaves this gap here where the magma, the hot magma, and all the mantle underneath can come up because it becomes less dense, and then it can, then it forms volcanoes and things of that nature. All right, so what happens when these two plates meet? Geohazards. So you can have earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, are some of the geohazards that would happen when these two plates collide. All right, this is just a larger map of that. It shows all the earthquakes, things that have happened over time. So 1957, there was one here. Again, you have some over here in the Philippines. But this large plate here goes all the way around. That's Pacific plate, right? Then each continent has its own plate. So you have like the North American plate. You have a small plate here. So you have the North American plate up here, the South American plate. There's an Australian plate. There's an African plate. Right, all these continental plates. All right, suture zones. They're long-term effects of subduction zones. So after a subduction zone happens, so you have these two plates that collide, right? One goes down, it leaves a gap in the crust itself. So then you have a suture zone. So like the mountains itself are suture. They're combining the two plates together over time. A good way to think about it is your skull. If you've seen the skull, there's a bunch of fractures in your skull when you're a baby. And then when all those plates heal together, those are suture zones. Right, it's the healing of two plates. All right, why are there suture zones? According to a source, all right, there's three suture zones, and they make up the Himalayan mountains. All right, you have the Sago, which separates India from Eurasia. Shyok suture zone, and then the Croatian Ladaka Paleo Island Arc from Paleo Eurasia. All right, again, this is just another picture of the African lithosphere. So it goes down. You have the African continental tectonic plate coming here. The suture zone is actually right here. As you can see, to combine the two plates together, it's this little area here. So that's where you'll have like your mountains and things like that forming. All right, in conclusion, moving tectonic plates in the past, future, and present will continue to change the way we see our Earth. Tectonic plates are still moving, some more faster than others, which is why we still have earthquakes, things like that. Understanding the combination of subduction zones and suture zones will give you a better understanding of why we have mountain ranges, volcanoes, islands, things of that nature. All right, these are my references if you like to look them up. This is where I got all my information from. And that is the end of my slideshow.